Okay, I just realized I had the desktop sound off and you're watching me do things and not hearing, so you don't even know there was a song on. Yes, I was messing with my settings earlier to get rid of an echo that was coming from one of the cameras picking up sound when it wasn't supposed to. I found this setting. So while I'm sitting here going like this, yeah, there was a song on. We won't play it again until next show. All right, so what's going on? After all those fails, trying to make a pocket out of black to match my black shirt that I'm making it for, it turned out it was synthetic. And 4 attempts into it, it was like, I give up. I don't know what's wrong with this wool, but it's not working. And then I've just, moved on and made a successful couple of projects. Then I went and found a pink I just bought also. That turned out to be synthetic too. So I ran a test and sure enough, totally synthetic. I couldn't get wool to felt with it. I couldn't get it to felt with itself. So this is another untested wool. Although I'm hoping this little bit off the end suggests I did try it and it worked. But we're going to find out now because I'm going to attempt another little felting project. And if this is real, it'll work. And if it's not, c'est la vie. I've got another little battle on my hands. Now this is the problem with ordering stuff long distance. They call some things wool. They're not at all wool. They are completely synthetic. And since they call it wool in this description, and I have successfully received merino wool tops, I didn't really doubt it. It looked good. How can you tell till you see it in person? Okay. Yeah, we still have a fungus gnat problem. I did find one of the plants has them. I'm trying not to kill it. The plant, that is. But I may give up in frustration inhaling all these gnats, I have a couple of spiders, or had one. I think one just recently croaked, because I think that's what I vacuumed up today, a shriveled spider body. Okay, this is definitely wool. And it's a more coarse wool than this. This is what makes me concerned about this. The synthetic, so this just doesn't have the sparkle that the pink one had. It is so soft, it makes me concerned. But we're gonna give it a shot because if it works, it'll be nice. And if it doesn't, back to the drawing board. And hopefully I haven't had a refund on that order yet and I can take care of it. Now we have weird weather all over the place today. It's been going on now for a little while, but Hawaii is getting hit pretty harshly. And Maui wrote to say that as of yesterday we're getting little puddles developing, so I think he's keeping his eye on the garden. And there's another little bugger. All right. I think we're going to go with, do you want to go with a 5 or a 6 petal? We'll go with 5. No, just in case this is going to work. Always do it like it's going to work, because there's a good chance it will. Too early to tell. Now this, I could probably just needle felt in instead of wet felting, but if I can get these all anchored together, I'd really prefer that. So a friend of mine in my, a group I'm in on Friday mornings, our creative circle. It was just a coloring circle, and now I've got them bringing other stuff to the table, which I just love. So everybody's sitting around doing their own creative thing. We've now got filters down there, and I have been really curious about why I couldn't find any books on wet felting. Lots of books on needle felting. And wet felting, it's like, what the hell? It turns out that this modern way of doing it is a modern way, and it's so new that people haven't really been putting books out on it yet. Sarafina Yarns is adding classes, I guess, but you can already get them for free online at Living Felt. That's where I discovered wet felting. And, you know, I looked up, so how did they used to do felting? Well, actually kind of the same, except they didn't have bubble wrap. And instead of using soap and water and working the fibers together, they used, they called it carroting. They used, well, to make a hat, they would use the fur and mercury to make everything mat together and become waterproof, like a cone, which they would then force over wooden molds to take the shapes of hats, and then again fixed with, you know, a neurotoxin. Here's why nobody does that anymore. But I don't know when it was exactly when people realized that you don't have to use toxic materials to get your natural fibers to work together. So whoever it was that discovered it, I'm really grateful to you, because I am just loving it. It sounds lovely as it is. That's me sucking up water. Now there's no soap in this water. This is my fresh brush water. But don't worry, I have soap right here. This soap is wrapped in wool. Uh-oh. It already feels like it's not real wool. Real wool will absorb this water instead of holding on to all the air it can. But we will see when I get some soap mixed in there. Right now we're just working the water in. When you first lay down your fibers, whether they're real as we're hoping or whatever, they're very easily displaced, so you want to be very careful. Everything starts off really gently and then gets progressively more assertive. Now, I've been wanting to try this. I'm going to try and make a flower. And I've been wanting to try this for a while, but I wanted to make sure I had the basics down. And now I'm doing it really because it uses just a little bit of wool, and I can test out if it's a synthetic or a real wool. I suppose I could just make something that big to find out if it's real wool or not. If I'm going to go through all that effort of doing this and the rolling and pressing, why not see if I can end up with something worth keeping? Stay down. Now, I've listened to a lot of videos on the subject of wet felting. And I came across one that was significantly different from everybody else's, and that's what I found really interesting. It was a woman that was making, clearly very experienced, she was sculpting a felted bat with the wings open. And I stopped to see it because she was showing how she made the wings so transparent, which is something I'm interested in for doing my wet felted cobweb scarves. Now, you know, by the name cobweb, you can imagine I'm trying to create something super delicate looking, but strong enough not to, you know, fall apart while I'm wearing it. Okay, we have some soap in here now. Okay, I can see the pattern of the bubbles underneath it. So the reason for the bubbles, they're sitting on bubbles face up. It's not just to hold the stuff in place when you first start working on it, but it's like having all these extra little fingers when you're rubbing it very gently. It's kind of rubbing it from behind. And I have another piece of bubble wrap to go over this. Ah, okay, well that came through, which is not really something we want, but I know that what it just came through is real wool, so it's not telling me anything other than it picked it up. Now let's see if we can pick you back out. Hello, tweezers. No. This week I have been losing everything in plain sight. There they are. Do not felt into my knitting, but the fact that you're coming up is not a bad sign. other than I don't want you to come up, you need to stay down. Like there. How about all of you? You weren't supposed to do that. Okay, let's make sure we're not stuck everywhere else. Since I only put really 2 layers plus the embellishments, I did it so that this would felt quickly if it's real felt. Unfortunately, it's felting really quickly with this. No, come back here. You're just supposed to be a highlight. All right, I'll try to be a little more gentle. Got him. Well, the way they multiply, it might be a she. All right. Yeah, that's definitely pulled up some of that yellow yarn here. So, yeah, and you're definitely not felted. Just calm down. What am I growing them here? Okay, this time this side is not bubbly. I'm using the smoother side. And we want you to completely stick. There you go. Oh, that's looking a little better. We're going to need to squeeze out the excess water. So it's right now smooth side to smooth side, wool in the middle. And I am going to use my rolling pin. Now some people put this in a towel first. I haven't tried that. Let's give it a shot. I know that's really helpful in picking up the water I'm going to squeeze out of it. There we go, lots of water. So the person in, I think, Australia who was doing the bat said that what's really getting the stuff to mesh is not the water or the soap, but the friction. And that once you got the basics pinned down, you could actually throw it in a bag and put it in your dryer, even without heat. Because we've assumed that heat's also essential to shrinking some of this stuff. And it's not. It's the abrasion, constantly touching it. Like I wrapped this piece of soap with wool in my first experiment in felting a piece of soap. The cool thing about it is the more I use it, the more the felt is felting. So it's getting more dense, and even though the soap is shrinking inside because I've been using it, this is felting to itself and making a nice plug of yarn. Well, it is 4:20. Anybody here appreciate that time of day? I'm just so old. What are you doing? That doesn't look good. I don't know if this rolling in a towel first was a good idea at all. I'm afraid that the pink is starting to act very much like a synthetic rather than a natural fiber. If that's the case, I'm going to be aggravated. Look at the bag I bought of it. I bought a pound of it so I could do a larger project with it. And if it doesn't felt, what's the use? And this is how I get my workout. Upper body, anyway. Now, if you're wondering, is this the most boring channel on the internet? It could be. Except I actually talk at times. I'm not teaching anything other than be careful what you shop for. Read the instructions, read the descriptions, and then doubt them. Look at that. That is synthetic. No felting whatsoever between these two layers. That's crap. Now, what I just did was not enough to felt this whole piece. It was enough to make the layers basically cling together, and that's not what they're doing. Instead, as the synthetics are losing the water as I squeeze it out, it's just becoming its natural dry self again. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to take a picture of this, and so I don't have to hold on to it when I make my return. Return all of that, because that is just ridiculous. And I will show them. This is what it is. This is not working. Okay. And now back to you. So I have a pound of this beautiful colored fake wool, and I don't even know what I'm gonna do now. I now have to test all my bigger amounts of wool because I can't be sure what they really are. I got this gorgeous blue. I thought I used some successfully, but I'm starting to wonder now, because that too has a kind of a strange feel to it. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna waste any more other wool. I'm gonna put it right on top of this wool. The real wool felted together. So if it felts to the wool, it's wool. If it does not felt to the synthetic, it's synthetic. Anything else here I have to test? I think they're all smaller. This, I believe, is real wool. And we will double check it right there. Let's try a little bit bigger piece here. Okay, those are actually two blues right there. They look the same, but they're not. And what about you? I'm pretty sure you're real. Yeah, I believe I have felted this before. It's clumping like real wool. Okay. Do I have anything else that could be fake? And ring a project before I get started. Now I know that's synthetic. No, it's definitely wool. All right, that's enough to test on. Oh, hang here. Now that's real wool for sure. This is real wool. But what was left of my black, dubious. So, the end of the month, my sister was taking me to a yarn shop. We're going out for lunch. And when we go out to walk around the town and all, we will be able to stop and check out my new favorite hobby. Now, real wool does not take long to start sticking together or knitting itself together or felting. Synthetics obviously never do. Yeah, I kind of like this light blue on the hot pink and orange and yellow. Now, a little more soap. I feel kind of like a kid playing with mud pies. Yeah. When we were little and played with natural clay or mud in the yard, we'd smooth it out and all that with our hands. I think that's why we like finger painting so much. Like working with clay. Yep, see, that's the real wool. It's felting to itself, and it will not felt to anything unnatural. How are you doing? Huh. Okay. We don't want to wrinkle it. Oh, damn, I just remembered Dan from Russia visited us yesterday. I forgot to check for his link. He was sending me some music. Okay, we will continue doing this because, well, the synthetic is never going to felt, but we're still not sure if these three are synthetic or not. I won't know until I finish a little bit more of this process. It's suggested that one do this 40 to 100 times in each direction, for a total of 400 times. So why am I here? This is not a subject of great interest for the average person. This is what they call hand fulling. Then comes the part where we beat it up by picking it up and throwing it over and over against a hard surface. Okay, you are not felting at all. Well, I think it might be felting to itself. Maybe not necessarily. Because if it's felting to itself, it's natural. I think that's natural. That might be real wool. It's still... Now I'm going to be able to take that right off, which is not a good sign. And what about you? Now this is as thin as you can make it. It's just 2 layers. If you're just coming in, this is a test of well, it turns out it's a not natural fiber, which means it's never going to work. The pink background is, as soon as this starts to dry, it's going to separate back into 2 layers. The stuff on top, the orange and yellow, is definitely real wool, and it's felting together, which proves it's wool. This is a different wool, this is different wool, and I'm not sure yet, actually, if they're synthetic or not. This might be real. Looks like it's connecting with the other stuff below it. What about you? It might, but I have my doubts. Okay. Yep, see, it's all coming up. Synthetics will not hold on to anything. The only way to make that work is by needle felting it. And I am not planning on making any big needle felting projects. Okay, so the real felt sitting on top has felted together. Good sign. So at least I know some of this stuff is good. But in general, yeah. Waste. Okay. I will have to watch those later. Okay. So, eliminating that was going to be, this was going to be for a big project, because I bought enough to do something with, but since it won't felt, it's a waste. Okay. And I'll see if I can at least get my money back on it. How depressing. Alright, let's see what we've got. I don't have a huge amount of any one color. Now this sky blue, this is the one I suspect of being synthetic. I feel like I'm doing a magic act. This is real wool. This is, it's kind of like too perfect. I'm hoping I'm wrong. Because this, if it works, and I'm really not sure. Oh no. It's very kinky. Hello. Oh, it's too late for that. He sold them to the Russians. Why do you think he took all those documents home that were classified and top secret and just put them in his bathroom? He didn't do it for his personal things. He was looking for stuff he could sell off, trade for power. He's never had any loyalty to this country. He's a traitor. Everybody in the current regime should go to prison for war crimes. You know what is ironic? This guy is nuts, we know that. He's got dementia, and he wasn't together before he had dementia. He was suspected of already having dementia before Epstein died, because Epstein wrote about it. Kind of like, what's wrong with this guy? If Donald Trump was too sleazy for Epstein, what the hell does that make him? But the irony is that he's trying to kiss the ass of Netanyahu. I can't say his name because it always makes me think of Yahoo! That aside, the irony is the guy does not know what he's doing. The Secretary of War doesn't know what he's doing. He thinks he's playing video games while he's using our taxpayer dollars to feast on fruit baskets and lobster and my favorite kind of steak, ribeye. On our tax dollars while we are losing health care and food stamps and everything else. So that's how nuts he is. Don't think that he won't. And all of that effort of the evangelicals to bring about Armageddon, well, it'll be for naught, because there will be no Israel, there will be no Lebanon, there will be no Palestine, there will be nothing. He'll turn it into nothing, because that's what he is, a nothing. Nothing, well, too much power. Now I'm telling everybody, stay away from America right now. Don't ever come near this place until we get rid of this frigging fascist regime. Nobody is safe. Even Trump said, well, come here, we would like to see you play, but we can't guarantee that you'll be safe. ICE could pick up your players. It's like, so he's gone. I mean, okay, he's Looney Tune in dementia, having tantrums in the middle of the night. And because the sane people have the minority in Congress and the Senate, we're at the moment hopeless with that in terms of being able to stop him from doing that, because Congress will not step up. They're only stepping up to give crazy man more power. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised if that's me, but let me see. I have a really good connection, but that doesn't mean I see a notification. Unmute your microphone source in the mixer. Can you hear me okay? Does the sound better? I turned off the phone, turned off the audio in the camera. So all we're using is my professional microphone. But there's no more double signal, right? All right, we're going to try this one now. Wait a minute, do I have 2 or 3? We got 3. Oops. Yeah, this has been really disappointing to end up with stuff that I was anticipating with such joy. Turn out to be synthetic, and it won't felt. So we're doing another test of another one to see if it's synthetic or the real deal. I think I pressed so hard just now I popped one of the bubbles. Okay, well, it's accepting water the way I would expect for a real fiber. I do have real fibers stuck in this. Well, I guess I can just leave them because if they felt in, that means it's all real. How's your rain? Pretty wet out. Oh, gray. Is it over for now? It looked like you're going to be having rain every day for the next week. I'm disappointed that my friend and I decided we were going to go out for lunch on Monday to celebrate both our birthdays. And it's supposed to pour all day. Yeah. Good luck, man. The problem is, even if you were able to put up a a tent over your garden to protect it from the direct rain, you'd have wind pulling your tent away. Glenn and I used to go camping a lot, and there were times that we wouldn't have normally gone camping, but we had shows. Like 2 days at a time, we had to spend both days at the show. And I'll tell you, we did Bakersfield. They've got a big show every year, and we booked it. The third year I said, screw that, it rains every damn time. Even though they have this event every year, they don't do anything about the place where they hold it. There's no drainage, there's no rocks, it's just dirt. And when it starts raining, you know what happens when the rain starts hitting the dirt. A desire to eat candy. Carbs. Carbs, you need carbs. Have some spaghetti or rice or beans. Well, it's not your old normal, but you've been tested with for everything. You're not diabetic, you're not hypoglycemic, right? I'm sure by now they would know if you had a tapeworm. Well, if you shit out some undigested rice, that's tapeworm. And Maui, at this age, you have new normals, all right? Don't worry about what's normal anymore unless it's making you sick. I'm glad that you're hungry. You were sick for over a month and you lost your appetite. Now you're feeling better and you're hungry again. That's good. But you've been eating a lot of veg, right? Because although veg has carbs, it's not a fast carb. So that could be the problem. That you need something faster, like a pasta or try potato. I found a lot of those things were taken care of by a baked potato with a little butter. Lots of stories, huh? It sounds like you do have a lot of stories. What's the therapy for your back? I have a feeling this is not real wool. This is 3 layers. It should be starting to felt up. I'm not getting that feeling. Back and left knee. Oh, left side. I don't know why it's so typical that everybody's left side goes first. I guess, well, there's got to be a reason for it. And if the left hip is out or the left hip is weak, it will cause pain in the knee and cause difficulties walking. The left is not right. Did you injure your knee? That's very funny because on my phone I can't see the word not, so it looks like the left is right. The heart's in the way. Oh, oh. There's been some changes to insurance. So where we didn't have deductibles before, we do. Before you cash out, find out if you have a deductible on your new appointments. The left side back feels like it's lifting my knee. Yeah. And how do you figure you did that? Too much sitting down? Or too much improper bending in the garden? Yeah, I know, I can't either. But that's more connected to my heart and veins. But, you know, long enough, it weakens everything. So what did the doctor say it's from? You don't go to a physical therapist for no reason. They know why you're there, and they have an idea of how you got the injury. They have you working out of machines. A lot of work for a little test subject. Yeah. I've been through a lot of physical therapy. Multiple car accidents. No, not my fault. Surgery in the back. Passing out once. She punches you in the back? What do you mean she punches you in the back? You mean like a chiropractor? I have never been punched by anybody. I did have a very bad chiropractor who screwed my back up, though. I have not recovered. It's been 3 years now. But she literally pushed one of my vertebrae so far inward, it's out of sync. It doesn't line up, and I've got not herniated, and the discs get squashed and come out the sides of the vertebrae, and they rest on nerves. That's what I have. Wow. So you get all locked up. Well, they show you those exercises and stretches, but you're supposed to do them at home every day without them, right? so that you don't build up that kind of a tension. But with all the different therapies I've had, I've never been punched by a therapist. Interesting methodology. Don't you? That's what everybody does. Your body is a reflection of your mind and the momentum you built up all your life. That's why things don't change until your thoughts change. I found the biggest problem for people is that they don't want to let go of their thoughts because they identify with them. They think their thoughts are who they are. They don't want to change. But you're not your thoughts. You're not your brain. Your brain is just a tool. And most people don't know how to use it. But people don't want to change. Change is the hardest thing for humans. It means attention, and might they have to work on themselves and take responsibility. I'm not speaking you specifically, I'm speaking humans in general. They don't want change. Or they say they think they want change, but they're not willing to take the time to change the nature of their thoughts. They don't address their self-talk. And if you don't address the self-talk, nothing can change, because everything comes from the self-talk. You tell yourself you suck, or you're bad, or you're stupid, you're ugly, you're inadequate, you're unlovable, you're unworthy. And then what do you think you're going to do to yourself? As soon as you start thinking like that, those are all thoughts that somebody else put in your head years and years and years and years ago. And again, I'm not talking to you specifically, Doc. I'm talking to people in general. They box themselves in. They feel trapped by their own minds. But the thought of letting go and changing is more frightening than dealing with the shit they deal with every day. At least that's familiar. It's a known. That's why people don't make an effort to go past that until usually a crisis. When people are threatened with death, they're given a real bad diagnosis. Suddenly, they might be willing to examine their behaviors, their thoughts, see how it's affecting their health. But we carry the weight of our thoughts for sure. Everybody does. That's why we say, if you can find ways to laugh, you will find your pain reduced just because you learned how to laugh more. Is laughter the best medicine? No, everything that brings you to the point of laughter is. The ability not just to laugh at the world or laugh at yourself, but to find joy. When we're focused on our problems and all the misery in the world, because there's always misery in the world, that focus takes us off ourselves. We don't have to address our issues or problems. It's much more difficult to say, whoa, I just caught myself, I have to come up with a better line of thought. What's really nice right now is I live in a community and I participate in a few things with the community. And it's not because I'm lonely, because I'm never lonely. Yeah. As you change the nature of your thoughts, your body will change. Absolutely. And I've just been like today, especially because of something that happened today, not with me, but was witness to it. You know, living in a community, you get all these different people, and it's inevitable that some of them are going to have attitudes that nobody likes. And you've heard me talk about a couple of them when they moved in here. It's like, oh God, right? It's like, I can't believe that person is doing this, saying this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we had a woman move in, and she was actually so crude that rather than go to her bathroom or any bathroom, she just lifted her dress and pissed on the floor. A grown woman. Okay, and no, she could have made it, but she didn't want to. It was her asserting herself. So you have people you have to learn to deal with, because it comes down to you. How do you feel? So when I see certain people, when I saw certain people, I would feel not anxiety, but I'd feel a tension in my center because I did not want to see them. And then I learned how to make it so I didn't have to see them. They didn't, without even realizing it, they were avoiding me. The universe was guiding me. When I'd get off the elevator, they were getting on the other one. I didn't have to deal with them because that was how I did it. It's like, I don't want to deal with them, so I didn't. I didn't have to because my headset was in the right place to prevent me from continually bumping into these people I did not want to see. But then today, I realized that I found a different way of dealing with it. And that is, I realized that so many of these people, well, pretty much everybody, you know, we're all on different levels in terms of our own growth and in terms of what we came here to do. We're not here all to do the same thing. We're not here the same, well, we're not on the same path. Even if we are sharing time with people, it doesn't mean we're on the same path. We're evolving ourselves at different rates and in different ways. So, I mean, there's no contest. But I realized that I'm not just a teacher, you know, that you've known for 18 years, but I'm a teacher in the way I live my life and the way I react to situations and other people. So it's your behavior that is going to dictate how people treat you a good deal of the time. So now I don't have to even think about those people because now they want to cozy up with me, which I'm always very nice. I am. I'd rather be a light in the community than someone griping about it, you know? And we have that's another thing, like we even had a special meeting because of gossip in the building. And the truth is, people love to share information and they love gossiping. And we do have a couple people here that tend to gossip. And I know that they don't mean anything by it. They're not hostile, they're bitches or anything. It's just, they don't have another life, you know? It's like, well, this is where they are, this is where they stay, this is what they see, this is what they do all day. And so if they share their observations, it's because they don't really have anything else to talk about. They're not doing anything. They're not going anywhere. Okay, I have a feeling that unfortunately this is synthetic. Okay, maybe not. Rough it up a little. All right, I'm dubious. It is holding together better than the plain stuff did. It must just need more felting. We'll try a little. Okay. Let's add a little more soap. The change in the people around me is just because I had a change in me. Like I don't want to think anything negative about anybody, not because, oh, I want to be so good, a goody two-shoe, don't think anything bad about anybody. Well, that ain't going to happen. There's definitely people I think poorly of. Um, I just don't get involved with them. It's because if I am losing peace, if I get anxious or tension in my body at the sight or sound of somebody, that's my responsibility. It's not them. They don't have to change. If anybody has to change to make you happy, you're never going to be happy. So, I mean, despite what's going on in the world, I'm happy. Despite the fact that we're at war, I'm not happy about that. As a person, I am. Except for the gnats driving me crazy. I'm doing well. Now, I have been very pushy with some of these women here. For my sake. And where I'm pushy is if they start bitching about their physical maladies. There is nothing more boring than sitting with somebody who's got nothing to do but complain about how they feel. And I remember that as a kid, listening to old people. Now, I'm an old person and I have complaints too. But it's like, well, the more you sit there and talk about how bad things are, what happens? You start feeling bad. The more energy you give to something that sucks, your energy's going right down the drain. You could be using that energy for something better for you. Think of all the mental energy wasted thinking about people who are dead. Is there any more wasted energy? They're dead. Well, dead to the earth. You're never going to see them again. They can never touch you, hurt you, talk about you. They're gone. And for all intents and purposes, it's over. But people torture themselves year after year about their childhoods and their experience there and how it sucked and how hard it was. And like, okay, shut up already. It's not just boring, but it's when people are starting to talk about how unhappy they are. Don't you feel it in your body? Once you feel happiness and you get used to having peace, when you're around anybody who's disruptive in that way, you feel it in your physical body. You know immediately that you're around somebody you shouldn't be around, at least at that moment. And I've gotten into, not to be a bitch about it, but if I'm in a situation where I really can't escape, because like say I'm doing laundry, someone is carrying on about and I just want to slap them, but of course I don't do anything like that. I can't keep my mouth shut anymore. Now it's like I try to turn them around. I said, yes, but look how much better you are now. Look what you have now. Look what you have to be grateful for now. So whenever they talk about how lousy the past was and insecure it was, and like, look, I've been homeless too, but I don't want to sit here and talk about all the times I was homeless, blah, blah, blah. I can stop immediately because, like, I don't think about that so much except when someone is bitching about their past being homeless. And then I go, yes, but you've got a roof over your head now, a safe place to stay. It's a safe apartment building. We even have security. So let that go. And as soon as I start pointing that out, you can see the face, you know. At first they're like, well, wait a second, I was getting into my groove of shitty life. And it's like, but doesn't it feel better to be talking about what you do have, how good things are now, how things could get better? And that changes the energy. You're going forward. And I've got one woman, every time she says, well, I never did that. I'm just too stupid. And it's like, don't ever say that you're stupid around me, or I'm going to give you a ration of shit you're not going to want to hear. I think they shut up just because I threaten them. Like my friend I adore her, but sometimes she'll talk about almost accidents while we're driving. And I actually used the word shut up once. To stop, 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 stop. To shut up. You were driving and you almost had another accident. Now, I want you to stop talking about almost having an accident and focus on the road ahead. Because I want to be safe and I don't want to be in an accident. But even if you just sit there and go, I don't want an accident, whatever you're focusing on, you're attracting. So if you're sitting there saying, I don't want an accident, the universe just recognizes the word accident, the emotion around an accident. That emotion is what's attracting. So shut up. Don't talk about how horrible things are. I catch myself with politics all the time, and I'm trying not to bring it onto the show. But I am going to write a new intro to the show to be up here because, yes, this is the most serious ever in my life, serious in our country's history. This is a very bad point we're at. So yes, I'm concerned. I don't want anybody to think that I'm ignoring it or I'm blind to it or I'm numb to it. I am not numb to it. I'm just using some self-control and not letting all of my emotion about it be expressed while I'm trying to make felt. And see if this is a synthetic fiber or a real. Well, it's matting together and it's looking kind of natural, but really the tell will be when this dries. If when this dries it just pulls apart in 3 layers, this whole batch is history. So we're going to let this, I'm going to move it out of the way and we'll check it tomorrow. Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you can escape a negative environment, by all means, it's your responsibility to do your best to do so. Absolutely. Sometimes it is very much the environment, the people around you, and getting away from them. Like I said, we have a community, and when you live in a community, you're going to have a mix of people that you cannot decide who's going to live there. It's not your job and it's not your place. But you have to be able to get along well enough so that your peace is not disturbed. And in turn, you're not trying to disturb anybody else's peace, right? I mean, none of us are going out there looking for trouble, but trouble is still around there. But again, if you are tuned to your higher self, if you are tuned to the good vibes, you're going to run into that less and less and less. You're going to find the same thing like I found when I did not want to bump into these 2 annoying people, that you will pass each other like ships in the night. You'll miss each other for weeks and not even see each other. And that'll be fine with you until you start thinking about, I wonder where they are, and they appear because you thought about them. Hello, welcome back, Dan. Did you send me the links? Because I remembered today, but I did not look at my email last night. Actually, this morning I looked at one address, but I forgot to look at my work address. I'm sorry. Well, I guess I can find out right now. Is this or is this not going to fall apart? Call me Galen. At Gmail. That's my business email. And anybody from the show, if you want to contact me, that's what you have to use. I have a good spam filter and multiple antiviruses, so I'm good. Okay, it looks like it's trying to knit. So this could very well be a usable fiber. All right. Now I have another package coming, and it looks like it is white yarn. It is. Now they're saying that this is a pound of wool, and I'm certainly paying for it. It's, even on a good price, it's still $13 for heavyweight wool felt roving. So we'll find out when it gets here if it's the good stuff or if I just got bamboozled again. It's always a gamble when you buy things by mail. And Doc sent videos with me in medieval clothing again. I'm gonna have to do this look at your stuff afterward. You sent me a whole shitload of stuff. What are you practicing the animations, or what's your challenge right now? New music before sleep. Ah, thank you. What's my opinion on the Beatles? Okay, my opinion was they came to America when I was 11 years old. They were the hottest thing around. I liked them, I liked some of their songs, but I was more into the Monkees. And then later the Rolling Stones. I wasn't as impressed with them as my fellow classmates who were obsessed with them, like teeny boppers. So I like some of their music, um, and that's all I can say. I, I I don't really listen too much by them anymore. What's your opinion on the Beatles? Oh, okay, Doc. Is it a different app you're using? A different program? I cannot believe all. I thought I got rid of them actually, but now. Nuts. Oh, okay. One of my favorite songs was actually Norwegian Wood. I always loved that song. And Blackbird. Oh, there's a lot of them. I mean, I loved a lot of their music. And I owned a couple of their albums growing up. But then you get introduced to so much more. I was there for Inagata Davida, the first record that took one whole side of an LP for one song. That was like history. Oh, if you knew apps. Are you comparing using the same image? Is that what I'm seeing here with the different videos you sent? Or if I'm wearing the same costume, that's all one app. Dan, Doc is using my 38-year-old face in his AI experiments, art experiments. Oh, Doc, I forgot to tell you, somebody hit on me. It was a woman. Um, she hit on me because of the picture that you did of me, which I posted. Just this one that's straightforward. You did a video for me with it that I requested. But just the still shot that I sent you and said, yeah, if you can make this one, it's got a good stern expression. I like it. So someone let me know that they thought I was hot. And I said, yeah, I was 38 then. That's an old picture of me, but thank you. I thought that was funny. I haven't been hit on, well, when I'm in person, you know, people can tell I'm straight, pretty much. And if they ask, I tell them, well, I'm straight. I have had many lesbian friends over the years because as a musical entertainer, I had a gay crowd. They were the only ones who were supporting the arts. Oh, thank you. Well, it's funny to even think in those terms because of my age, honestly. But like I said, it, it was flattering, but I knew that she was hitting on somebody she thought was, as she, you know, as old as she looked, and I had to let her know that no, I'm about to be 72. So a little out of your age range, honey. But thanks anyway. Also, if you're not in my town, I'm not interested in meeting with you. I mean, I'm not interested in going out on a date, but I don't want to develop friendships long distance. You know what I mean? Um, First of all, I'm not looking for a partner kind of a relationship anyway, but I wouldn't mind having friends and going out for coffee, go shopping together, things like that I can enjoy, but not getting any deeper than that. Um, Not looking for intimacy at this point. Hey, I thought I killed you. I must be hatching them under my table. I did find a spider that did a good bit of damage to them, but I think the spider died. Alright, this is drier and it's not completely lifting, so I think it'll be usable, which is nice. I do love this color. So this would be considered now at this stage a pre-felt. It's not completely felted. It's still, I could still add things to it and have them stick and become part of the fabric. So my pocket came out great. Where did I put my pocket? Oh, I'll go get it. The only thing I've got to do now is attach it to my sweatshirt. Ah, I did laundry today. I got some new clothes, a few tops and a pair of pants and a scarf. So I needed to get them washed and, you know, ready to go. Oh, so everybody's doing it and you were going to do it. See, now there, okay, that's great that you brought that up because this is what I mean about bumping into people. When it's time for you to do something. Now, we don't have schedules like other people, right? We're not working full-time jobs anymore. So we're not subject to what other people are still slaves to. Go by the immediate feeling. When you get the idea, hey, I think it's time to do laundry, that's when you want to do it. That's the universe saying you go, and you can check in. Okay, is now a good time? And you'll get a yes or no right away. Get used to talking to your higher self or the God, the source, whatever you want to call it. Your higher part will answer you when you ask direct questions. So, and I, just like I said, those people I don't want to bump into now, I don't care. Because I found a different way to deal with them. But it doesn't take any patience or anything. It's like they may as well not exist because that's how much of an emotional reaction they can pull out of me. Nothing. But if I didn't want to bump into them, it was the same thing. If I thought about doing my laundry, I would say, okay, Is the coast clear now? I'd get a yes or no. And if I jumped on it when it said yes, I was fine. If I waited, I ended up waiting more hours for people I didn't want to be around or machines all taken up. We only have a few machines. Considering how big this building is, it's about 50% of what we need here. Nevertheless, I get my stuff done, and today I managed to get a load done, so I don't have to worry about it now for a few days. But I have learned when you get that impulse, that's when you act. When you sit to think about it, your moment passes. And this applies to everything: creating, meeting people, getting good food, anything. It's your impulse at the moment is, and again, you have to learn to hear yourself so that you know if it's a weird impulse that you shouldn't follow or if it's intuitive impulse that is directing you correctly. You will get the feel for which it is. But you have to pause long enough to ask the question. Is now a good time? You'll feel it. I think I'm being dive bombed by, it must be the light. They like my light. Okay, it is 5:34. It is time to address the tweebadoc in the room. Or as normal people say, dinner. Actually, tweebadoc, that's an Amy Farrah Fowler invention, and it means elephant. So we will keep this because it did felt, mostly pre-felt. I can add to it or add it into something else, and that'll be cool. So tomorrow is Saturday. As far as I can know, I think I should be here all day. And our weather is kind of unpredictable at the moment. So I'm pretty sure I'll be here or in the kitchen. As a matter of fact, you know what we really should do tomorrow? I should try broadcasting on Epic Studios. Because then I'll use the phone. Or what we can do is first we'll see if it helps. We'll try broadcasting on YouTube again tomorrow using the phone. If we get that audio issue again, then I'm just going to say I'm done trying to stream live from here. And then I will go ahead and try Epic Studios, which I downloaded specifically so I could do stuff in the kitchen. But we haven't tried it yet to see if it's going to work. Well, stop being amazed and just enjoy it. Your body is telling you what it needs. Eat. But of course, you know, sugar is not a good thing, but if you get cravings for sugar, you either need to get tested for your sugar again, like diabetes, or you need more carbs, but take something a little bit more complex. You know, if you've been doing a lot of greens and stuff like that, you're probably not filling up on bread, right? Well, I'm glad. Be amazed, but just appreciate it. Be grateful, right? Your body is telling you, it's giving you signals like it's supposed to. Eat now. Go make some rice. Don't forget, rice is healthier and pasta is healthier if you cook it and then refrigerate it for at least 8 hours. It does something to the starch and it makes it more easily digested, and also there's something else I forgot. A bad side effect of eating pasta and rice. I mean, not together, just those two items. I can't remember now. All I know is that if you freeze it or chill it before you eat it, it's healthier for you than if you just cook it and eat it. Now, when I make spaghetti, if I make a pot of it, I make sure I freeze most of it. I eat my one meal and I freeze 2 or 3 meals. But if I'm doing the little nests of pasta, they're angel hair and they'll just get mushy. So I only cook enough to eat in that moment. And yeah, so far it's working out. My digestive system's fine. But try eating some of that pasta or rice and see if that satisfies the need for sweets. Because I'll get it too. I get a carb craving. That's usually when I reach for the bad stuff. That's when I go looking for, like, God, why don't I have a piece of cake? Why don't I have cookies in the house? I don't keep those around much because if I do, I eat them and they're bad for you. And I can make my own from scratch. I'm not desperate. I know how to make a waffle. Satisfy sweet cravings with a fast pancake or a waffle, little maple syrup, and that's it. I'm done. And it takes a little longer to digest than a ding dong. You do that too? Edgar! Bonsoir! Comment ça va? Yeah, see, donuts aren't good for you either. That's the sugar craving. Unless you make the donut yourself and you know what's in it. If you get a commercial donut, there's stuff in it you don't want to eat. That's po, not pole. Naughty. Moi, très bien. Merci. Tired and I'm good. Tired. Oh, and you. That's O-U-I, O-U-I in French. Oui, oui. I'm good. I have been making, this is going to be a pocket for a sweatshirt that has no shape to it. It's boring and no pockets. So I made a pocket out of felt, out of wool. So I will have to attach this to the, and that will probably be something I do tomorrow. Oh, merci. I was born to go to Paris. I'm telling you. I need immersion. I want to be there in France to hear everybody. There you go. Wee wee. I actually had a dog named Wee Wee. When she passed, we had a shishi. My stepfather was très bête. Very stupid. Anyway. Edgar. It's time for me to make dinner. My last meal of the day. And kill more of these gnats. This is getting really tiresome, spending half my time here slamming little bugs. I'm glad they don't bite. Do we use a cartoon in France? No, it does not. Not that I'm aware of. Maybe. Well, I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. I mentioned a waffle. I'm thinking I could make a potato and cheese waffle. Ah, now Doc knows anime and cartoons, animations, so I had chicken and broccoli for my lunch. Plenty of chicken and plenty of broccoli. So, I don't know, might do a soup or something. I'll look. Oh, last night I had a Hawaiian chicken sausage. It's not really Hawaiian, it just contains ginger and pineapple and chicken. I had that, and what did I make with it? Oh, I had jalapeno baked beans. So good. It was so good I did not need to spice up anything. I used my beans to spice the bites of meat. It was great. What about you, Edgar? How are you doing? You know what I should do tomorrow? Is my nails. That green nail is to experiment with a new kind of nail polish. I like the bottle. It's too bad I can't use it for anything else. Um, I wanted blue, but that was all I could get. It's a Marie Claire from Paris jelly nail polish in mint. Oh, that's something to call about. Well, I don't know. Edgar, don't you have other things you would prefer to do? It's kind of a mixed blessing, right? Doing something new. Aw. Love. Mush, mush, mush. Minu. Doc, we don't have, well, I have food pantries I don't go to because we get a food box delivered the first Thursday of every month. So, they pretty much make it out no matter how bad the weather is. We've been able to get our food boxes. So I don't know. Hawaii is different, and you have a bigger storm. You have to go to the food pantry tomorrow, right? They don't deliver. Oh, I'm getting sick of the smell of this soap. Looks good, but I have to choose the class for next year. Oh, I see. Yeah, I understand. I understand. So, an hour away, that's 2 hours of travel a day. Is it possible for you? I mean, 5 blocks away? Oh, okay. That's a rough walk in bad weather, especially with wind. Edgar, you got 3 months. How long before you have to make the final choice, final decision? You have a couple months where you can just chill out before you have to commit? And Doc, can you call anybody to find out if it's still on? Walgreens is 7 blocks away. You don't have to go there too, do you? I'm so glad I get my prescriptions delivered. I went with a small, privately owned pharmacy, and they deliver everything. Also, it's more than 7 blocks away. I can't go across town. No car. Aha. Oh, you would have to go to boarding school because it's an hour away? There's no transportation you could do? I understand. I lived like that for 17 years down south. We were very rural. Very, very rural. I can see that why that would be stressful because you're neurodivergent and going to a boarding school. I can see why that would be stressful. It's a whole new environment. Um, unless you had your own room at the school where you would have privacy to gather yourself together every night. And which is a shame because it's not often that something comes up as an opportunity that could be ideal. Ideal in that they're offering, that school is offering exactly what you want versus one that's not. You have to think about really which is the better payoff for you, you know? Because boarding school can suck, but if it turned out to not be a good choice, could you come back? I mean, your parents would, of course, take you back in, but could you just re-enter another school? Transfer in school, like between semesters? Because here you can do that. There are pros and cons to every choice, right? If you're away, the pro includes you being able to be more yourself, your real self, because you're away from the family. But I can, even if I don't go there, I can do my studies and that's, oh, that's great. Well, I think it sounds like you've made your decision, really. You don't need to stress too much anymore because you know what you really want to do. Sometimes you just have to say it out loud a few times to get comfortable with that and say, oh, yeah, okay, I really do want to go there, or there, or there. The point is to be happy, right? And to get closer to being your fuller self, more of you. So you have to go by your gut. You have to go by your feelings. You can't logic it all out. Your inner self will tell you yes or no, yes or no. Which feels better, which feels better, which feels better. Go by the feelings. Oh, you know what? I'm going to show you my, since you're here and I'm going to be going, before I go, I'm going to show you what I did. If I can remember where I put it. Now I tried to make a pocket. It turned out too small. I was going to do 2 pockets, one with a day scene and one with a night. Then it turned out that my black yarn wasn't yarn and it wouldn't felt. So I did this, painting with felt, and I learned a few things from it, like everything here that's wider is 3 layers and this is 2 layers and it shrunk more. That's really interesting, you should ask. I came up with something else for the book because I've been having a problem with the first not the first chapter, the 3rd chapter. But I'm very excited about it. I've been trying to focus on a cast of characters that I've been using in the 1st and 2nd books. And it suddenly hit me the other morning that I'm being held up because really the 3rd story calls for, excuse me, a few more people that were not in either of the first books. And when that crossed my mind, I was like, oh, I'm trying to make something happen which can't happen, but there we go. So yeah, sometimes you have to work a little harder to work some things out. However, the development of the 2 main lines are really going well. So this is felt. It was going to be actually my first experiment with making a bowl, but it is like a felt sculpture. So it's just like this little container. You could put a fake flower or fake plant in there, I guess. They just call it, it's a felted vessel. So it has a piece of scarf in it that I really liked, but the scarf caught on everything, so I decided to turn it into art fabric. But it's polyester and it doesn't felt, so you have to use real wool to make it stick. So that was my first vessel. That was my 2nd attempt, actually my 5th attempt at a pocket. That was my first attempt at doing a wool landscape. This was supposed to be my first bowl. But it wasn't the right shape because I did not know how to make the right template for this art. So I ended up with this really super strong pocket. I could cut this into 2 pockets and sew them on my black shirt and it'll look fine. But I did not want to do that with this because it was my first project and I was really pleased with a first project coming out this good. But then after I finished this, it's like, wait a second, it's got to be sewn on 3 sides and I won't be able to get my hand in it, you know. It's like, no, that's not going to work. That's why I made this one oversized, so I have plenty of room to sew it, and if it's too big, I can cut it, and it'll be fine. So I've been having fun. My sister is coming to take me for my birthday lunch. We're going to a seaside town where there's a wool shop, and I'm going to get more wool to do this. I'm excited. I have a new hobby that I'm really loving because I can turn this into clothing and art, scarves and art, um, but also the writing. So I've got plenty to stay busy with. Oh, and learning more flatbread recipes. I just made some flatbread with tahini. The recipe was very simple and I did not like it. It needed more, it needed something to, tahini can get bitter. So I added a little maple syrup and that kind of evened it out. But it's not my favorite. I like chickpea flatbread much better. But yeah, what am I going to make for dinner? You know what? Instant potato flakes are wonderful to have on hand because you can whip them up, no pun intended. You mix in an egg or two and some water and chopped cheese, and you can put it in your waffle maker and make it crisp. Crisp on the outside, soft on the inside. It's a delight. I love food. One of the reasons I want to go to France is the food. But right now, with the way the world is and the way my pocketbook is looking, I'm not going anywhere. But I am enjoying where I'm at, so I'm not whining about it. So I'll be back tomorrow. You can count on me. The waffle, potato cheese waffle, it is good. I have done it a few times now. It's also good if you throw in some green onions, sliced green onions. It cooks really well. I've got a Belgian waffle maker, so it's a little thicker, a little deeper. And yeah, the onion and the cheese together, it's like a big potato pancake, except crispy. And no extra fat. Well, no, the cheese melts, and that does put fat in it. I mean, you can see where it melted. You should do that. That seems to be. Don't. Uh-oh. Doc is in Hawaii, where they are experiencing some serious storms this week. Good luck, Doc. Hope you don't lose power. You ready for that? See, that's our concern. Um, the wind taking down some power lines because, that's problematic. Although we got almost 20 inches of snow, and there were over 100,000 people who lost power, but we did not. That doesn't mean we never do. We have a couple of times, but not too bad. Anyway, I sang my good night song. I'll be back. Oh, you do? That's awesome. We don't. Which really stinks because we have elevators. If somebody gets stuck in an elevator, the fire department has to come and rescue them, which happens at least twice a year. Yeah, I just remembered I've got a can of lasagna soup. Merci. Bonsoir. Good night, my dear. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be on early. I'm planning on being here early. We're going to try a few experiments to make sure we can get a best possible stream. So we're going to start tomorrow maybe in the kitchen with the phone. If the sound is bad, we're going to switch over to Epic Studios. Oh yeah, Edgar, I don't know if you can get this in France or not. but they have their own app. So I downloaded the app and I can use that for the phone. So we're going to try that if it fails here on YouTube again. And to you, Maui, I say aloha. See you tomorrow. Safe journey to everybody, and